Welcome to part 2 of my Otakon video. Again, Otakon was held August 9th through the 11th, 2013 at the Baltimore Convention Center in Baltimore, Maryland. This part of the video is going to cover my personal experiences at Otakon this year and just, what I've seen. Now, the first part, we stayed at the Sheridan City Center, which is about 3 blocks away from where the convention's held. Again, it's a good con hotel. It is a little bit of a further walk, but we've had very few problems there. We stayed there for many, many years. Positive experience. Now, something I'm going to actually mention first. We actually did the Matsuri this year. The Matsuri was a very nice event. It was a little pre-con event. It was free, open to the public. It's held on Thursday. We were actually the relief team for our main group of people that were working our table, which we did Trivia Impossible. We had a hard trivia contest there, and we thank anyone who showed up and was nice enough to play our game. Now, the rain unfortunately did spoil it a little bit, but that's life. We had our traditional dinner also at Edo Sushi, which, was delicious as always. We got our badges with no problems. The line was pretty quick. The line was a lot longer than expected. We got there about 8:30 to 9 o'clock Thursday night. There was a pretty good line yet, but they worked us through. And now, on to some key information. I'm part of a panels group, and we actually ran a few panels at this con. We ran Game Show Impossible, Where Have I Heard That Voice Before, and Legend of Korra. Game Show Impossible was held in a pretty decently sized room over in the Hilton, and we actually got a decent crowd. Panel went okay. I actually didn't attend Legend of Korra, but we had an amazing crowd from what I've heard. There were many, many people who didn't get in, and we're sorry about that, but thanks for all those who attended. Full room from what I heard, and we'll move down the line. As usual at Otakon, I had so many panels you really want to see, but then you realize I'm not going to get to all these. So, what I was able to attend was, I attended Game Show Impossible, of course. I was mainly a content creator on that. It went okay. Later in the day, I got to attend the McFarlane, Saxton, and Solasad QA. McFarlane was not able to actually make it because his plane was late, but it was still a decent QA. Saxton and Soledad, they answered questions, and it was reasonably entertaining. They were pretty nice. Okay, I attended the anime industry the before times. It was kind of like the old timers panel. Again, Trish LaDux was on it. Some of the former Bandai staff were on it. McKeefer was on it, and it was a nice little panel. They discussed, how they got into the industry, and what happened. The final panel I attended on Friday ended up being Mystery Science Theater 3000, and the anime they were complaining about was Origin Spirits of the Past. Origin Spirits of the Past is an awful anime, frankly. And they picked the right one, because they kept joking, hey, we're going to pick up MD Geist, and I was hoping they would do MD Geist, because I actually enjoy that show, and you would get a lot of funny out of it, but Origin was kind of bad enough that they had a good time with it. My only complaint was it was a little long, and I was getting a little sleepy by then, but I was able to finish out the panel, and it was well worth them bringing it back. It definitely, kind of made the con. Okay, so we have Saturday here. I attended By Fans, For Fans, 20 years of holding on for dear life, and that was the Otakon staff panel. Definitely some interesting stories there, a little bit of decent Q&A. I attended Crisis Heart Brawler voice actor, and I did not stay very long because they were actually going through the technical part of the game that they are developing. I was more interested in the voice actors, and Habercorn ended up, I don't know when he showed up, but Christina V and Hey Bear showed up first, stayed for a few minutes, and I decided it was time to move on. But more importantly, Funimation Industry Panel. You never know what you're going to get into with the Funimation Industry Panel at Otakon. It can either be really, really good or really, really bad. Like, 2011 was really bad. They brought 2 titles, and frankly, the Bandai panel just really destroyed them that year. Last year they announced Akira, which still isn't released as of the recording of this tape, of this video, but we know they're working on it. Funimation, a lot of work with Sunrise this year. We found out the big hit was Bebop getting relicensed and getting a Blu-ray. They picked up a few other titles, including Outlaw Star, which, it's good that's getting re-released. It's good a lot of the anime they picked up is getting re-released. It's quite necessary. I didn't get to attend the full TM Revolution concert due to the fact that there was overlap with the Funimation Industry panel. I don't know if I missed their warm-up act, or I believe I missed their warm-up act, but I got to see a large part of their main concert, and it was actually really good. I had nosebleed seats in the back, and it was still good seating. I like the music. It was a good concert. Sunday, I actually got into the simulcast of Yoko Kanno. There was actually a lot of room in the simulcast. I quickly found out that this was not the panel for me, or this was not the video or concert, or whatever you want to call it for me. I actually left after she played, I believe, the Cowboy Bebop intro. I realized, that, again, just not for me, and I ended up leaving. I'm glad I didn't wait in line to get tickets. I'm sure a lot of other people loved it, but honestly, for me, it's just not my cup of tea. Now for my personal good, bad, and unknowns. Definitely the good was the Matsuri. Matsuri was fun. I think we're going to participate in it again next year. It was definitely an interesting time. My only complaint about the Matsuri was I believe the walk is way too far away from the convention center. It is a good hike that I truly did not really expect. Guidebook, again, was invaluable almost to the con. You really, really needed guidebook. It changes your con experience almost completely. I noticed this year they seem to jack up the air conditioning in the convention center, which I'm a big guy. Definitely, completely worth it. I'm glad. TM Revolution concert again was pretty awesome. Pretty happy that that happened. The Funimation panel being strong is nothing but good for the convention. I would really like to see more of an industry presence at Otakon. Sentai had an early panel, but it was hard to attend. I'd like to see Discotech there. I'd like to see Right Stuff there. But at least Funimation had a strong panel to anchor the industry lineup. And this is a personal thing. I think a couple of other years, there was some rudeness. Everyone was polite this year. Almost everybody I ran into, even the poor guy almost backed into when taking a picture. Everybody was really, really polite. It was definitely, it felt like that the crowd had a little bit of a different attitude this year. Just like, hey, we're at a con, everybody relax, it's all good. And I was, happy that everybody was pretty polite. We unfortunately had some bad this year. They changed up some of the entrances and exits, and you couldn't be sure where you could totally re-enter and re-exit the convention center at times, and I think this is what caused the big Friday line jam up between the convention centers. For about a solid hour to an hour and a half, there was a huge slowdown line between the two parts of the convention center, and I couldn't get through it. I didn't want to risk going outside, and God knows where I'd have to walk, so I ended up staying in the area roughly called the Flag Lobby, and just kept taking pictures, and this jam-up caused me to honestly miss opening ceremonies, which I would have loved to be at. But, that's unfortunately part of your con experience. They did get it cleaned up, and there really wasn't a jam-up for any parts of the convention after that. Another problem was the walk to the panels in Hilton. It's starting to get to be a major problem if you want to see a panel, because most of the panels are now located in the Hilton, which I love the fact they're utilizing that space, but honestly, that walk starts to add up, and the bridge to the Hilton is another major choke point of the convention. Whoever designed it obviously didn't think that well, because it needs to be about twice to 3 times as wide as it actually is, because there's an elevator right at the convention center entrance, and it basically causes a bottleneck. And again, this is something I experienced last year. The dealer's room crowding, it's just, at times it's really hard to move around and enjoy the dealer's room experience. It took me, due to wanting to see panels and various photo shoots, 4 times to actually get through the dealer's room. And honestly, I still feel I missed some things in there. It's just too crowded at times. It's hard to get close to see the merchandise. I don't know how to fix that, but it's the second year in a row I've really noticed it kind of being a problem. And I used to carry a bigger backpack. I've gone down to a slightly smaller one, and I still had problems in there, which made me very sad. Finally, what my last bad point is, I have attended virtually all the Voice Actors After Dark at Otakon so far, except this year. The room was completely full to 100% capacity a half hour early. They should have simulcasted that panel. It was just crowded. It was super, super crowded. You thinking they were half hour early would be good enough, but it wasn't. You couldn't get in. I know 2 other people with me that also didn't get in. A lot of people didn't even try because they noticed how bad the lines were this year at con. It really was a line con, and it prevented you from seeing a lot of panels you wanted to go to. And finally, now, the big unknown. At closing ceremonies, they announced Otakon will move to the Walter E. Washington Convention Center in Washington, D.C. starting in 2017. This is a big, big question mark. I realize it's a few years down the line, and who knows if we'll still even be... I don't know if I'll be doing cons by then. It looks like a giant price, because where I'm located, it's a 3-hour drive to Baltimore. It can be anywhere 4 to 5 hours down to Washington, D.C. A lot of questions come up about price, about costs. It's the same thing. Location, hotels. It's going to be an interesting move, and basically Otakon has said it's due to the facilities aging and basically falling apart at the Baltimore Convention Center. They basically had to look at other options, and now this option has been discussed over the years, and there's some expansion going on in the area where the convention center is. I guess we'll have to see, but let's put it this way. In my panels group, we're already talking about, starting to look into public transportation, because we're very cost sensitive, and we're pretty worried about the cost down there in this area, because now I took 3 full days off for this convention, because I took 1 day off to go through my convention pictures. You might need that extra Monday off just to travel back to wherever you go. You might have to stay through Sunday. It's hard to say, because now we would normally leave our area around noon to get down to Baltimore, but I know DC traffic. You're looking at seriously maybe leaving 8 or 9 a.m. Thursday to get down to Otakon, which that could be trouble. I guess we'll have to see how it works out. At least they're announcing it really early. Like I said, don't know if I'll even be doing cons at that point, but that move raises a lot of question marks. Overall, honestly, it's Otakon. It's the big show. It's the big dance. But this is the second year in a row I've been... It was... Going to Otakon, you have a pretty good time. You make your own fun. But it's the second year in a row I'm just kind of like, meh. It just wasn't like the best guest list I've seen. It was definitely hard to move around. It's still a good con, and it's something you should see, because it is the second largest convention in North America for anime. But it to me was missing something. I had a good time, got a lot of pictures, I saw some panels, I missed others. Trust me, there were so many panels I wanted to go to I didn't get to. It was almost crazy. But I'm hoping... It seems like my best Otakon was like 2010, maybe even 11. The last few years have just been missing something. I'm not really sure what. And I'm still going to go to Otakon. That's not even a question, because, like, Otakon is the big dance. It is the big con you go to. And because you're going to see some of the best cosplay, you're going to get a lot of chances to take pictures, a lot of different events. It's just, the little things are starting to get annoying. One of my friends was like, I'm glad I didn't attend this year, because he heard about the crowding problems. And I think we'll have to see what happens for next year. I'm sure Otakon's going to review the feedback. There's already a lot of good feedback on the forums. If anyone who's watching this video, if you had an opinion about Otakon, definitely go to their forums. If you had any problems, definitely tell the staff, because if they don't know a problem exists, then they can't fix it. Overall, for me, again, it was an okay convention. I've unfortunately been to better, but I've also been to a lot worse. So, I'd like to thank you for watching this video, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.